Happy Thanksgiving to all my friends and families. Hi, you know who I am. I'm Joyce Moya, and I wanted to reach out to you all because I have decided to do a GoFund event for my husband, a crowdfunding event for my husband. Um, it's a good story that you have to tell, and it's a sad story, but I think this is one that makes everyone kind of stop and think about how they have lived their lives and what they lived their lives for. I met my husband 6 years ago, almost 7 years now. And from the time I met him, he has been energetic, he has been funny, he has been a joy to have in my life. He has been a fantastic provider, and he is the best damn cook I've ever met. Um, but in all that to say, Hector has spent 30 years cooking for other people, cooking at famous steakhouses and other restaurants between New York and Florida. And he hasn't asked a lot. All he has asked for is quality in food, quality in management, and pride in what you do. And ever since I met him, he has shown frustration in the fact that people don't take food as seriously as he does. This year has been a rough year for us. Um, Hector's been very supportive of me as I've had to go up and forth between Virginia and Pennsylvania, helping my mom take care of my father. And in August, my father passed away. A month and 3 days after he passed away, my husband called me one morning from work saying that he had went to the ER and they had admitted him. And this was like 8 a.m. My husband usually gets to work about 5 o'clock in the morning, if not earlier, and I would never see him before 7 o'clock at night, at least 6 or 7 days a week. And I was kind of shocked by it, but I had to go to work. And he said to me, "Don't worry about it, I'm fine. They just said I may have a little bit of this or that, but they're going to run some tests." So I took it as, okay, fine. I go to work, I go to the hospital, I visit him in his room, and he says that they decided they're going to do a cardiac catheterization just to make sure everything's good. I spend the night. We go to the cardiac catheterization first thing in the morning. And I'm thinking, boom, bam, boom. They're going to put some stents in him. He's going to be out. Everything's going to be cool, and nothing's going to be bothered. And in less than a half an hour of me leaving the room for him to go to the cardiac cath procedure, the cardiologist comes out to me and he tells me that my husband has a condition that they call a widowmaker, that 100% of his main artery is blocked and 80% of his other two remaining arteries are blocked, and that he could have died at any time. In that moment, time stood still. In that moment, I had never felt as lonely and scared as I felt then. I had literally, unbeknownst to myself, collapsed into the cardiologist's arms. He told me that there's nothing they could do right now and that he had to go back to his room, and when they found a room for him at the main cardiac hospital in Fredericksburg, that they would transfer him there, and that he had asked for the head of the cardiac department to be his surgeon. And at that point, I didn't know what was going to happen. So Hector spent another few days, almost 4 days, in this hospital, and I was going to work and spending the night, going to work and spending the night, not getting a whole lot of sleep, and having other people take care of my animals, and of course not eating right, and all those good things that go with someone who's been ill. Hector gets moved to the main hospital, and it's another week, and during that week, he has a double bypass. The cardiologist told me that he wanted to do a triple bypass, but that double bypass was the only thing that he felt was necessary at this time. But afterwards, he did say that my husband had had a heart attack. See, before then, he said, "Oh, it'll be fine. I'll go in there. I'll take some veins from this part of his body and that part, and zip, zap, zoom. He'll be fine. He's young. His heart is strong. No big deal." Well, he comes out of the surgery and he tells me that my husband had a heart attack and that he did have a third of his heart die. So that everything he does from that point on matters. Again, I collapsed, but this time I'm surrounded by family and friends. This time I'm surrounded by the social workers I've worked with over the past 4 years since we've been here in Virginia, and My two sisters who came down, and I and my sister-in-law, and I was just so blessed. But I still couldn't stop myself from wondering what's going to happen next. How will our life look? Will he be able to get through this? Will he be able to deal with the depression that comes with it and all the other issues? We have. It's been hard. But one thing I did decide that day was my husband wasn't going to cook for anybody else, and my husband wasn't going to be a slave to an institution that didn't care about how people felt or how people lived their lives or the quality of their life. I know Hector's Dream had been a restaurant for so many years, but it was an unfulfilled dream because he gave everything in his life to his kids and his family and not once looked at himself. And I told him, what are we going to do now? And had he been sick and had he felt better? And he told me that for more than 6 months he had chest pains, but didn't want to tell me because I was too busy taking care of my parents. And he didn't want to be another burden on me. And that broke my heart. So on that point, I said to him, we will never keep our health issues away from each other because we were meant to be together and we were meant to stay together until death do us part, which I hope is a far, far way away from us. So since then, he's been on medical rehab and he's been going to cardiac rehab and he's been working. And I've been working, and God has put an opportunity in front of us that I never thought we could get. And that opportunity was a food trailer. I have met this girl, Shantae Holiday, and she's a dynamic young woman who is like a go-getter. And she works for a trailer company, a food trailer manufacturer down in Richmond. And she called me up. She goes, hey, girl, whatever happened to you and your husband? Do y'all ever get that trailer? What you going to do? And I'm like, girl, let me tell you what happened. So I told her what happened. She goes, oh, my God, get out of here. And she said, well, wouldn't it be better if he worked for himself? And this way he can sit his ass down and he can tell people what to do and how to do it and train them. But he wants to be trained and make a lot of money. And y'all don't have to worry about nobody else. And he can work what he wants to work and he can do what he wants to do and he can be as creative as he wants to be and dictate his own life. And I had heard that before. I had heard that from our accountant, in fact. And he had said to me last tax season, why don't y'all get a food truck? Because I want a restaurant and half the restaurants around here start with food trucks because that's the big thing. And if your husband's really good at what he does, he'll make money enough to do his thing. Well, I'm like, yeah, it's nice, but it costs money and we don't have money like that. But when Shantae said this to me, I said, girl, I wish. And she said, well, your wish is coming true. She said that there is a kind gentleman in the area who has decided to finance without any background check, financial, nothing, at almost 0% down, meaning no percentage on the stuff. Food trucks for people who he knows has the skills, is recommended by Shantae and her employer, and who is good for the money. You just have to come up with the down payment and the last installment, which means the last installment. So I said, oh, girl, well, what kind of shape are these food trucks in? So I'm thinking to myself, oh, God, how much it's going to cost us for the tires and the air conditioning system, and how old are these suckers because it's going to cost us more money to put it into. It's like buying a used car in my mind. She says, girl, they're brand new. She goes, the money down gets the shop rolling to build you your truck to your specs, and the last bit of money is upon delivery. She goes, and we're working about 3 to 4 weeks out. So it means you get your order and you get your truck within a month. Boom. Then I said, well, what about all the licensing and all the, it's different for food trucks because they're crossing counties. She's like, don't worry about it. We got that. We walk you through the process. We get you your certifications, your licensures, and no big deal. You just have to come up with that money and money for a commercial kitchen. Well, I'm thinking, well, that's nice, but you're talking maybe $6,000 down. That's still a whole lot of money for us when he's not working. So then I ran into my realtor who got me my office. And he said, is your husband still looking to do a food truck? And I had talked to him about this months ago. And I told him, yes. In fact, I told him about what happened with Shantae. And he said, well, I have a commercial kitchen that's coming up. The landlord needs someone who's experienced, and they're negotiable on the rent, and it's already approved by the Board of Health. Now, see, in the food truck business, you have to have a commercial kitchen attached to your food truck to show the Board of Health that any prep work you do and any major cooking you do is done in a state approved by the health department commercial kitchen. So I'm like, are you really for real, Steve? He goes, yeah. So I'll hook it up. I'll take you all to see it. And this kind man took us out, and it is exactly what he needs. In fact, it is where he can even store his food truck, which is even double, because most places you can't even store your food truck. So where did you store it? We don't know. But this place even has a garage to back it on up. So I asked, well, what would he want down? He said he went probably 1 month down. The rent right now is 21. I said, okay. It needs some work. He said, well, we're negotiable. I said, oh, okay. And Shantae explained to me how what events happen, when they happen, how much money you can bring in, how you get a following, all this stuff. And she's like, I'll be glad to support y'all for this. So I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, okay, how do I make my husband's dream come true? Because he's made everybody else's dream. He has made me so happy. He's such a good father. He's a good person. He's a good friend. His word is his honor. And I said, I'm going to do a fundraising event for him. So we are asking for $12,000. Now that $12,000 would be the down payment for the truck, the down payment for the commercial kitchen, and the first run of food and supplies. So the supplies would be hard supplies like pots and pans, which we do not already have. We have a supply of them, but things like tin foil, plates, plastics, all that kind of stuff. Then the food, your stationary things like salt, pepper, all of that, and then whatever else needs to be on it. So with 12,000, we can cover all of that. What we're asking is for you to give from your heart. If it's $5, great. If it's $80, great. If we could get some people to really give from their hearts because they know that we're good people and that we're good for our word, I would appreciate it. I have included some pictures of the food truck, some pictures of Hector's food, pictures of me and Hector, but I also will be posting things to his healthy food site I have on Facebook, because we've gone to a all plant-based diet and it's phenomenal. Hector's lost over 20 pounds. I've lost 10 and I feel great. I don't have sluggishness or mind fog, and except for fish every now and then, we feel great. So we want to share our farm fresh food with everybody, and we want to show the Latin cuisine, the Cuban cuisine, as all its glory and how it can be healthy as well. So I'm just asking if you can dig down deep during this season of giving and consider hosting us, and sharing your charity with us. Again, thank you for listening. I know I'm long-winded, but happy Thanksgiving and have a Merry Christmas.